of Fame one day. But when these other quarterbacks are going to play in the preseason, like the Joe Burrows of the world, and you have to go through the rigors of a 17-game season, and you're 37 and you're not practicing yet, that matters.
Mike T, Allen Iverson was saying that practice didn't matter. It was just practice. No, I'm just like.
Wait, I was trying to illustrate my point.
It was good.
We got what you're trying to say.
Big number, big question. Look at this. Matthew Stafford had zero snaps.
Man, that's Matthew Stafford.
The same as Allen Iverson.
Same as Allen Iverson.
Talking about practice.
He's 37, okay? He hasn't played in the preseason, though, in each of the last 4 years.
Thank you.
We didn't seem to notice that once the season started. But his return to the practice field is undetermined at the moment. He might not take a single snap in a single practice. Louis Riddick, is this Stafford back issue a huge concern for the Super Bowl contender, or not that big a deal?
Look, it's a concern for me simply because, look, if the back wasn't any kind of issue at all, look, forget the game part of it. If you don't want to put him in a game, that's fine. We're going to have that debate anyway later on when it comes to Joe Burrow. But the fact that he's not practicing at all, that he isn't on the field at all, that concerns me. Okay, so if he's fine, if it's not an issue whatsoever, then why isn't he out there at all? Keep him out of the games. I have no issue with that. Matthew Stafford's a bad dude. Look, I'm one of his biggest fans. Not as big as Dan Orlovsky, but I'm one of his biggest fans. But the fact that he hasn't taken a single rep, and the fact that you have Jimmy Garoppolo behind him, who, quite honestly, look, I wouldn't be sitting there banking on the fact that, look, if Matthew can't play, Jimmy will be available. He's had durability issues of his own. This situation is one of those that, to me, just tuck it away. It bears watching. You don't want it ever to become headline news and lead the A's here on Get Up, because if it does, it's because this season is blown up for the Rams because of the quarterback situation. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Bart, last time we saw him, he gave Philly fits. They were a pass away from beating the Eagles in Philly, and yet that was the last time we saw him, and that was in January. You have no problems with this?
I don't, because he understands this is his last hurrah. He'll do whatever it takes when the season starts to get on the field. I think if they had a game today, he would do what he had to do, and Lewis knows what I'm talking about. When you know this is it, you'll worry about surgery later, you'll worry about your kidneys later, all that type of stuff. You do what you got to do, get on the field, because he understands this is his best and last chance in going to immortality. I think the Matthew Stafford that left Detroit, that went over to the Rams, has been seen how I've always seen him, being one of his biggest fans, that he's a Hall of Famer. And I always say that if he was playing in Green Bay would have had more titles than under Aaron Rodgers.
Peter, I think Lou's making a really important point. There's a nuance here, which is there's countless players in the league that are on pitch counts, or they're limited, or there's a vet day off. But when you see nothing, like, that's not the same. And again, it's your starting quarterback.
Backs flare up, inflammation. You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where you miss a practice or two.
And see, look. All right. So let's just say he goes out there week 1 and he starts, and everyone goes, "See, there was nothing to worry about." But then there's week 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 17, and the playoffs. And that doesn't mean that the issue isn't something they're going to have to manage all season long. That's what I'm saying. Like, right now, they're managing it like this with no reps, because they're figuring we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Which means somebody's worried about something.
So Jimmy G's gonna get some reps this year. You just gotta prepare yourself for it.
On paper, though, we look at it and it's Devontae Adams, it's Puka Nacua. We got the new running back extended.
This is the biggest threat.
It's great on paper. But don't you kind of want to see it in August?
I don't need to see that.
No?
Man, listen, he's proven and verified, man. We don't have certified. We don't have to worry about that. They got young players. I think Jimmy G will handle it. You know, these guys, the chemistry with Devontae Adams, that's not a problem. These are two professionals.
Why is that not a problem?
It's not, man. There's a lot of guys that don't practice.
Right. That have been together for a long time.
Man, this is
Bart,
Dream Team Larry Bird right there, baby. Just put me in. Just throw me the rock.
Dream Team Larry Bird. Okay.
But this is a little different to me because of it being quarterback, because of some of the new pieces, and because of what they're after. Look, the Rams aren't after just relevance.
No, they need.
They're not after trying to just go 10-7 and be like, yeah, that was a good season. This team was a pressure away from going to the title game in the NFC and maybe going to the Super Bowl. So their expectations. Hey, look, obviously, Sean McVay's got big expectations this year. Have you seen the way that dude's look?
Wake me up.
French Riviera looks good.
Wake me up in December. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, I'm not worried about it.
But there's a reason why they're putting him on a pitch count now, is because they want to get into to December, which to me is a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah, it's not even a pitch count. He's not even out there.
Yeah, it's not even a count. Yeah.
All right. Plenty more on this. We got feelings, obviously. We're going to talk college football, though, and we are going to bring in Paul Feinbaum and Heather Dinich for a segment we're calling Heather's Headlines. Heather's top 3 college football playoff impact games. It starts with Texas, Ohio State. Heather, get after it. What do you think?
The headline for this is Texas needs to win this game more because they have a more difficult schedule and they need the margin for error. They have the 4th toughest lineup in the country. They've got to go to Florida. They've got to go to Georgia. They play their rival Sooners. They've got to go to Texas A&M. I mean, this is a gauntlet. Ohio State's schedule is tough, but it's not that bad.
Okay, we've got Paul Feinbaum with us, of course, and now Lewis is at the stage with me here. Lewis, which player do you think will have a bigger impact in that first game, Arch Manning or Jeremiah Smith?
Look, I think Arch Manning has to have a bigger impact. We know, look, Jeremiah Smith may be the best player in the country, but the importance of Arch playing at a very high level is critical for a number of reasons. One, because he plays quarterback. Two, because he's finally taken over an offense that it's going to undergo some changes here, especially on the offensive line. Running back's a little bit different this year. The wide receiver core loses Matthew Golden. He has to go on the road in a real tough environment and show that all this preseason hype surrounding him about him being the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy, maybe come out and be the #1 pick in the draft if he so chooses, is for real. So there's a lot on him. He can say what he wants about, hey, I'm just doing my part, and they're not trying to temper expectations. Nah. You don't get that when you're playing for Texas and your name is Manning. You don't get that.
I'm already smiling. I see Paul nodding. Paul, do you agree?
Where did all this preseason hype come from? I must have missed it, Peter. I do agree. But to me, Arch Manning just has to manage the game, and I think he will. We don't. Everybody points toward last year. Last year he was a backup, although he should have been the starter by the end of the season, and Texas may have been the national champion instead of Ohio State. But that's not really the point here. The point is getting in that environment, managing it, and on the other side, will Ohio State figure out a way to get to the best player in the country, Jeremiah Smith? They didn't do a great job of it last year down the stretch.
All right. Arch and Jeremiah Smith, of course, are 2 preseason Heisman favorites. But so are Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier. They also have good odds to win. Who are you picking to win the award? Heather, you're up first.
Well, I'm picking to win Jeremiah Smith to win the award because he's only 19 years old, okay? 17.3 yards per carry, 15 touchdowns. And when you look at his numbers in the college football playoff, 45 yards for one catch, 43 yards for another. I mean, he is a big-time playmaker. And the award goes to the best player, not the best quarterback.
Okay, Louis Riddick.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Garrett Nussmeier because I think, look, I agree with you, Heather, that it's supposed to go to the best player and not the best quarterback. But see, look, Jeremiah is really going to be dependent upon how the quarterback position really gels and kind of comes together for Ohio State and how Brian Hartline really does coordinate the whole thing, now taking over and calling plays. Look, for Garrett, he's going to be the one who's in control. He's the one who has the ball in his hands every single play. He is uber talented. He is super smooth, makes great decisions, real poised in the pocket. He's in control of his own destiny. And I kind of like that. I kind of like what he brings to the table. I've seen Cade Klubnik play. I don't think he's going to be a Heisman Trophy favorite. I get to see Lenore Sellers early in the season. Garrett Nussmeier is the pick for me, though, right now.
Paul Feinbaum?
Come on, you know what the answer is. It's Arch Manning. And here's why. It's not because I'm in love with a guy. It's because he's going to win that first game on the biggest stage in college football this year. And all of a sudden, it's going to go from Arch Mania to it's going to transcend the sport of college football. And he has so many other big moments during the season. And the Heisman is often won by those moments. It doesn't matter what the position is. It matters what kind of hype you get. So when he has other games later in the season, like at Georgia, and if he should win those games, he's going to move on to New York very effectively and easily.
Team Arch. Okay, Heather, we know about Ohio State, Texas, but there's another huge Week 1 matchup when it comes to future college football playoff implications. Who you got in that match, and which match is it?
Well, it's the Tigers versus the Tigers, Clemson, LSU. I'm going with the home team. When in doubt, go with those Tigers. And I think the biggest headline here is that Clemson has a chance to go 2-0 against the SEC. Remember, they end the season with rival South Carolina, which should also be a top 25 team. And for all of the complaining about the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, I promise you, this strength of schedule will be honored in that room if they can beat these two SEC teams, and maybe one of them is the SEC champ.
All right, Paul, which player in that game will have a bigger impact, Nussmeier or Klubnik?
Well, I go with Klubnik, but Heather, I don't mean to nag at you at 8:30 in the morning already, but I mean there you go, completely disregarding last season. You're focused in on the SEC going 0-2 against Clemson. Have you forgotten that Clemson is 0-3 in the last 3 SEC meetings? I guess maybe you missed that with your morning coffee today.
Paul, I tell you what, it's Heather's heaters, not Heather's haters, okay?
I like this. Let's get Lewis. What do you think here? When you look at Klubnik and you look at Nussmeier, and of course we're thinking NFL as well, but at the college level, which one do you think will have a bigger impact week 1?
I'm going to say Garrett Nussmeier again. Look, I'm a Cade Klubnik fan, and I think there's a lot on the line for Clemson and for Dabo and the way in which he is trying to build his roster in this transfer portal era. But Garrett Nussmeier, again, I think is just super smooth. And I think he's one of those guys who is going to show you all the NFL capabilities that he has from the neck up and from his shoulder down. He can do it all. I think it's a big opportunity for him. It's a great matchup. It's going to be great for the TV viewers. But I'm going to give the edge to Garrett Nussmeier. I think he's going to have a fantastic season overall.
From one LSU quarterback to another. Guys, thank you. We're going to be talking Joe Burrow right after this. We're going to see him play in the preseason, and it's going to be tomorrow night. How much should Cincy Super